Hi everyone, I am Claire Allen, the Public Relations Director for the Burke County Sheriff's Office, and we are on another episode of Transparent Table Talk with the Burke County Sheriff's Office. I am joined today with one of our amazing officers, Hannah Gay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So I just want to talk to you about kind of how long you've been here in Burke County and just your background in law enforcement.
Right. So I've been here about 4 years. I've been doing policing as a total for roughly 5 years. I kind of worked my way up here, and now I'm a sergeant on road patrol.
And how does it feel to be, a sergeant on road patrol?
Stressful, but you know what? I love it. I love the road patrol aspect of going to every call under the sun. Anytime we meet somebody, it's their worst day, and we can make an impact on every call we go to. And I just love the diversity of it.
And since the 4th of July is this week, can you just kind of your years of experience working on the road patrol? What are some things you have seen, good and bad, on the 4th of July?
So, luckily for me, I've worked days and nights on 4th of July, and the type of calls you receive then are very different. On nights, you're going to deal with a lot of DUIs, impaired drivers, crashes with injuries that result from people going out having a good time, having a little too much to drink, and thinking they're okay to drive. We also deal with people not handling fireworks safely. We've had a lot of EMA calls to where, someone's almost blown off their entire hand because they're, again, 9 times out of 10, they're impaired while they're doing these things. Because we are a larger county that has a lot of landmass, people think that it's okay to go out and shoot off their guns, thinking that they're having a good time, but people need to remember whenever a bullet goes up, it has to come down. And we've had instances where bullets have hit people's houses and things like that, just people being reckless with guns, thinking that they're having a good time. On days, it's not as bad. You do have people who are impaired, but they're still just out with the barbecues and stuff like that. So at nighttime is really when it gets dangerous for most people.
Okay. And my next thing is, could you just kind of talk about how dangerous it is to drive impaired? Not only drunk, but high, or any prescription pills that are not that make you drowsy and stuff like that.
So I'm not a traffic guru, but I will tell you that some of the worst crashes I've seen are when they are impaired by some substance, like you said, whether it is the medication that they're supposed to be taking, whether it is any other type of drugs, or if it is alcohol. People get behind the wheel and they feel good. They think that they can drive, that nothing's wrong with them, but that's what those substances make you do. They make you feel like you're invincible, that nothing's going to happen to you. And so whenever you do get behind that wheel, again, your safety should be top on the list of your priorities, but you also have to think about, you're not only putting yourself at risk, you're putting other people at risk who are coming home from work or taking their kids to babysitters or what have you. So, you get behind a wheel thinking you're invincible, and unfortunately you find out the hard way that you're not.
And just with your experience, what is this one instance or accident or anything that's happened that has stuck with you on the 4th of July that you've seen, while on duty, day or night?
So like I said, it's all different. So I think the ones that we see the most, at least on road patrol, is again, because I don't really work traffic, are the accidents with the fireworks where people are not handling them properly. You're doing things around children, and you're putting yourself in danger. You're putting your neighbors in danger, and it's not necessary. It's something that can be avoided, especially because you should look things up before you start doing them. You're gonna blow your hand off. You're gonna blow your neighbor's house up. We've seen fields catch on fire. Just how bad fireworks can go, and very fast, is probably one of the worst things I've seen.
Okay. And this my last thing for you. When you're done working for your shift, what are your plans for the 4th of July?
So the 4th of July is my last day on rotation. So I thought about going downtown Augusta to watch the fireworks, but I've decided that I'm going to go home and go to bed. Because after working 2 days of people having a good time with the barbecues, like I said, we're going to get a lot of calls of domestics and unsafe actions with the fireworks. So I plan to go home and relax in my bed.
Is this Is there anything else you might want to just add or elaborate on just about the dangers of 4th of July, not only with fireworks, but driving impaired, barbecuing and stuff like that?
Okay, so a few of them. If you're going to drink, whether it's one, whether it's the whole bottle, either call an Uber, call a friend. Do not get behind the wheel of any vehicle, whether it's your golf cart, whether it's your four-wheeler, whether it's your lawnmower out here in Burke County. Don't get behind the wheel of anything. And remember that the 4th of July is not the time to go out and shoot your gun off thinking that that's a fun activity to do, because you need to do it safely if you're going to do it, but if a bullet goes up, it's going to come down, and you never really know where it's going to come down at. So.
And just my last thing, I guess, when people, hear the fireworks, they might think that it's, gunshots. Or if they hear gunshots, they might think it's fireworks, or, vice versa. Just in your experience, I guess, what can you say to people who, don't know how to tell the two apart?
So sometimes it is really hard, even for us, because they make so many different fireworks, and sometimes you really do think that they are gunshots. So if you are in a place where you hear them and you can't differentiate, I mean, it's okay to call us. I'd rather be safe than sorry in situations like that, because during this holiday, we do have people that do go out and shoot their guns. So if you feel like it's not fireworks, then, I would prefer you call and us get there and be able to help somebody, opposed to us finding an accidental victim later.
We are on the heels of having just completed our summer camp, which was a huge success. We served nearly 24 children, or a little more, and that many families. It was a great event, hugely successful. The kids had a really great time. The instructors, the mentors had a really good time. Look, they did things like they attended the zoo in Columbia. They went swimming at the Family Y. They taught them etiquette and how to behave and how to eat in a restaurant. They got to attend Georgia Southern University for a safari, where they got a chance to feed animals, to play with them. It's kind of gross to me, but some of them held a
boa constrictor.
Yeah, that's the worst fear I have in the world. So I could not do that, and I can't even watch.
You're not the only one. They some brave kids to.
I couldn't even watch the pictures. It was pretty gross. That's tough. They got to walk nature trails. Look, they even attended an event at the airport in Augusta, where they got to learn about travel and airlines and airplanes, and got to see what that's like, and how the K9 sniffs out packages and that sort of thing. So that was pretty educational. They attended a state park, Magnolia Springs State Park in Millen, just down the road from us, and got a chance to do some water activities there.
Yeah,
the splash pad.
Yeah.
So that's all. Water is always exciting for children, and then some of our volunteers from the office here showed up and did a pretty big cookout, I understand.
Yeah, we went down there. It was hot, but we made it through. So
yeah, look, y'all were super all week long. It just does my heart well to lead an agency of people that care, and to take time from your day and to be with those kids and to be impressionable. It was just it's fantastic. That's the kind of thing we do here at the Burke County Sheriff's Office, and I am just very grateful for all that y'all did and all the participation that y'all gave. So summer camp 2023 was a huge success. The kids were beautiful. They were great. Didn't have any behavioral problems to speak of, and by the end of the 2-week period, y'all all wanted to take some of them home with you. They wanted to go home with you. Well, at least Chastity did. She's always wanted to take kids home. So that was great. Now we're approaching 4th of July, Independence Day, where we declared our independence from Great Britain in late 1700s, 1776. Is that right? Somewhere thereabout. And it's a time to not only reflect on our independence from Great Britain, but also to understand that as we celebrate, we've got to do so in a responsible and safe manner. And I know every year it becomes an issue. People are festive. They are cooking out and got barbecues going and family reunions going on, and it's a time to get the grills out and get the spirits out, and people start to indulge in alcohol, and it becomes an issue primarily because people are still drinking and driving, and I really can't believe that people still do that this day and time. I really can't. I mean, we've been talking about this for decades, and the governor's office of highway safety. You probably see those cars we have with GOHS on the side. We have a couple of them that are paid for through a grant. Governor's Office of Highway Safety. They express and impress upon us to reduce crashes with injuries and fatalities, which tend to go up around the holidays. And while 4th of July this year is on a Tuesday, with a lot of people having to work on Monday and Wednesday, it might cut down on some of the festivities, but there will still be people inevitably cooking out. Some of them probably did it on Saturday instead of Tuesday. Others will do it on Sunday or Monday. But it's a time to remember, look, if you're going to partake in the spirits, have a designated driver. Get somebody responsible who's not drinking to drive for you. And we always have Uber. And while in Burke County, Uber might be a little more difficult to get, here you know a lot of friends, you know, a lot of family. You have people that will look out for you and help you. We just can't have people drinking and driving. Leave your car where it is. Every year I get these calls. Well, I was sitting in my car to stay cool. I really wasn't going to drive. Well, part of the DUI law says if you are in actual physical control of the car, it doesn't matter if you're in the back seat sleeping it off. If the keys are in the ignition or the keys are such that we can prove you have physical control of that car, you still DUI. You don't have to be behind the wheel. The wheels don't have to be rolling on the car. This comes up as well. People will say, well, I only had 2 drinks, and it's not against the law to drink and then drive. You just can't be impaired. Well, that is, you can be per se, what we call per se, drunk, where you're 0.08 or higher, or you can be less safe to drive, where maybe you had 2 beers, but you're running off the roadway. And so you're less safe. So there's DUI per se, there's DUI less safe, and either one of those will get you. So it's just my suggestion to you, get an Uber, get a designated driver. Don't get behind the wheel. Don't start this whole thing about your height and weight and how much I've eaten and how quickly it's consumed, and it's just not going to go over well. As you well know, in 2023, marijuana is a big deal.
Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of DUIs driving under the influence of drugs and not just alcohol. So this marijuana business. Just this past Friday, guy got off work at 3:30, and by 4:30, he's in jail for DUI. State Patrol got him, and his boss called and said, "Man, he just got off work at 3:30. I saw him cash his check at 4 o'clock. He could not have engaged in alcohol that quickly." Turns out it was marijuana. So it's very serious. Stay away from it. Just don't do it, and be safe.
And to add on to that, not only, marijuana is a drug, but also, opioids, any prescription drugs that might impair you or, alter your thinking or anything, that's not, a legal substance that you have a prescription for, that can also take effect in your motor skills and how, you operate a vehicle. So that's another thing to be aware of that also.
So very true. So very true. Every household in America, I think, probably has some prescription medication in the cabinet. People are using that. Some are abusing it. But you're right. I mean, if you own oxycodone for pain or something like that, then you certainly don't need to be. It says specifically not to operate heavy machinery, and a car is considered that. So you're right. And they don't have mercy on you because it's a prescribed medication. I mean, if you're under the influence, they're going to give you the DUI. DUI is still on your record for 50 years. An average DUI would cost a violator probably in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $15,000 when you consider fines, fees, surcharges, classes, increase in insurance. $5,000 to $7,500 for an attorney. you're going to pay $10,000 to $15,000. It is not worth it to say you're having a good time. So there you are.
And just within your, your law enforcement experience, what is it? Just been some instances or an accident or anything you've seen, just in your lifetime of working in law enforcement that has always stuck with you about that happened on the 4th of July? Like if it could be a drunk driving incident, a firework incident, anything like that, just to show the importance of how dangerous, this holiday can be.
I spent quite a bit of time in Augusta, and as a young detective, I was always in the ER. We used to call it MCG, the Medical College of Georgia, which is now Augusta University Hospital. But I spent so much time at the ER there. And on 4th of July, people will they take chances with fireworks, and they end up blowing off a finger or getting facial injuries, eye injuries. So just say to your kids, if they're under 16, because that's where most of the injuries happen, they're taking chances. I remember as a kid, we would break a firecracker in half and light it for the effects. That is dangerous. It is silly. We'd hold a sparkle or something in a firework sparkle in our hand until it got dangerously low, and we just shouldn't take chances like that. I think any of these doctors or nurses in the ER would tell you that they are inundated. They are flooded with cases from people getting hurt during any season where fireworks, New Year's Day, 4th of July specifically, but 4th of July, just got to be careful. The law is such that you can have fireworks in Georgia. That changed in 2018. You can buy certain fireworks. You can shoot them until 1 a.m. on 4th of July. Any other day of the week, it's 11:59 p.m., but 1 a.m. on 4th of July. While we're talking about this, so probably the most remarkable thing I've seen, which is to answer your question, is the injuries that result. It's just, and then the other thing is we get inundated with calls. All night long, people are confusing fireworks with gunshots.
Yeah.
And 911 is inundated with phone calls concerning that. Deputies are very busy that night because we're responding all over the county for these calls that are coming in at 911. So what I'd suggest is, if there's something dangerous, you need to call us. Calling 911 to say that people are shooting fireworks at 11 o'clock at night, I've got to work tomorrow, or my animal is afraid. I mean, we kind of know this happens a couple of times a year. You got to be prepared. Get your animals prepared. Relocate them. Put them somewhere else. But we just don't have the personnel to respond to those types of calls for service. So I would ask you to relegate that to emergency services so that we don't overtax our public safety personnel.
Okay. And just another thing, just to circle back onto the, driving impaired and the DUIs and everything. I remember, I'm not from here, but some of the things that you were saying, we've always talked about growing up. And I remember a couple of years ago, one of my close friends were leaving from, going out partying, 4th of July, and they ran right into the back of a pickup truck. They were going full speed, not paying attention, and ran right into the back of a 18-wheeler. And it did not end too well. They passed away. So I've always remembered that around this time, just to be cautious, even if, if you do go out, if you don't go out, just be responsible, because you never know how lasting that impact can be. A split second, one decision can change your life.
Yeah, life is so fleeting. That is really unfortunate. Very sad. Look, I'd just say leave fireworks to the professionals. Burke County will have a fireworks event tonight at the Burke County Recreation Department. It's a beautiful event. It'll be very festive. They don't spare a whole lot of expense when they do it, and there'll be many families, hundreds and hundreds of people out there watching that event. Go to an event like that versus going to one of these fireworks stands and purchasing your own and then having people do them in the yard where it's not safe and it's not controlled and there's not an expert. If you're going to use fireworks, have a water hose handy to help extinguish any blazes that may come up from dry grass and that sort of thing. Again, as kids, I know we light a firecracker and throw it on our friend. We thought that was funny. Those silly things happen. They're not funny. Injuries are serious. Doctors Hospital will be full of patients tonight, tomorrow, burn victims. And so those are not laughing matters. They're very serious, and I would just hope that people will be responsible. Augusta has huge fireworks event downtown on the river, and it's a beautiful event. I'd suggest going to something like that versus taking a chance at doing it yourself. And certainly just the drinking and driving, we shouldn't even have to talk about that, but we do because people still do it. And we don't want that. So I'd like to save myself a bunch of phone calls from folks who will be calling saying, my child is in jail, or your deputy has me stopped, or State Patrol is going to be in town. You posted something on our Facebook page this past weekend. They've posted something on their Facebook page. They're not going to tolerate that kind of thing. Our deputies are not going to tolerate it. We've got more deputies out on the streets during holidays such as 4th of July. They're going to be out in numbers. They're going to be working together. So this is not an us versus them. This is Burke County Sheriff's Office and Georgia State Patrol working together to reduce crashes with injuries and fatalities in and around our county. This is how we keep you safer, and we're going to be enforcing the traffic laws and impairment laws.
All right. And is there anything else you want to add or elaborate on?
I think that's it. I think 4th of July is a big deal. It's our Independence Day. Let's be happy. Let's be festive. Red, white, and blue. Remember all those who.
What are your plans for? You gonna cook out? You gonna be on a barbecue?
Yeah. So every year, we all take turns hosting a holiday, and my sister Angela, the school superintendent, will be hosting her annual 4th of July festivities at her house. We have a good time. Just tons of people, and we'll have 50, 60 people throughout the day, and just, some water events, some family games, a lot of food, ribs, chicken, sausage, everything you can think of. I mean, it's a pretty huge event, but we all got to go to work the next day.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that I'm usually the first one to turn in, so I don't stay out too late. But we'll have a good time, and we'll do it responsibly, and everybody's welcome to come by and get some food and say hello. All right. That's it.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you today, guys. We thank you again for tuning in to this episode of Transparent Table Talk, and also to the radio show, Taking It to the Streets. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can always reach out to us to give us any feedback or anything you would like to say. Anything else you got, Sheriff?
That's it. Micah McDonald, Taking It to the Streets. I love it. Take care.